أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Surah Al-Baqra. I begin in the name of Allah, the most affectionate, the most merciful. Verse number 228. وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ وَلَا يَحِلُّ لَهُنَّ أَن يَكْتُمْنَ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ فِي أرحامهن إن كن يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر وبعولتهن أحق بردهن في ذلك إن أرادوا إصلاحا ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم. And the divorced woman will remain in waiting for 3 menstrual courses, and it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah Almighty has created in their wombs. If they have faith in Allah Almighty and the last day, and the husband has more right to take them back, provided they want to reconcile, and women shall have similar rights of equality as is due from them, in brackets husbands, but the men have a degree over them, in brackets in responsibility and authority. And Allah Almighty is most almighty and all wise. And in the commentary, in the tafsir, it is mentioned, from this it is understood that an adult woman is fully independent concerning her affairs. No guardian can compel her, because in this verse the woman is given the right to keep herself away from marriage. This verse does not say, "O guardians, you keep them away." Religious issues, the period of iddat, meaning waiting 4 months and 10 days, is liable on that divorced woman who had sexual intercourse with her husband prior to the divorce. Otherwise, this is not applicable as mentioned elsewhere in the Quran. From this verse, 2 issues emerge. Number 1, it becomes incumbent upon the woman in the iddat not to conceal her pregnancy or menstruation, nor make an error therein. Due to her error, if there is any fault with her second marriage or remarriage, she will be guilty of a grave sin. Number 2, in the matter of the period of iddat, meaning waiting, and pregnancy, the wife's word will hold more credence than that of the husband. I.e., if the wife says that her days of iddat are over and the husband denies this, the wife's words will be accepted. From this we learn that in the case of revocable, meaning in brackets, raji', divorce, it is not necessary to remarry. Only revocation is needed. Further revocation can be effected without the permission of the wife. The husband can do this, but no force must be used by the husband. In fact, to make the marriage work, it is better to effect revocation maturely. From this verse, two issues emerge. Number one, the wife's duty is to serve her husband, and the husband's duty is to provide for her needs. And number two, a man cannot marry his slave girl, meaning maid, because the wife has legal rights over her husband, while the maid has no such rights over her master. Hence, wifehood and maidhood cannot be given equal status. From this we learn that whosoever claims the rights of husband and wife are equal is a liar. Man is superior to a woman, hence his rights are greater, because the wife's material needs and her meher, meaning dowry, are man's responsibility. The husband's right should also be greater. Justice too and demands this. Section 29, verse number 229. الطلاق مرتان فإمساكم بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. Divorce is twice. Thereafter, a woman in brackets must be retained with good or released with kindness, and it is not lawful for you to take back from her anything that you, in brackets husbands, have given them, in brackets wives. But if both fear that they could not keep in the limits of Allah Almighty, then if you fear that the two will not be able to observe the limits of Allah, it is no offense for them, for that of which the woman ransom herself. These are the limits of Allah. So do not transgress them, and those who transgress the limits of Allah, it is they who are the unjust. And in the commentary it is mentioned, in the case of revocable divorce, in which man has the right to annul this divorce within the period of iddat, the divorce will be regarded as two divorces. The use of the word at-talaq points to the fact that the revocable divorce is an obvious divorce if not annulled, while using words of divorce intentionally usually becomes irrevocable divorce, in which case it becomes necessary to perform the nikah again. In brackets, retain with good means to revoke the divorce within the period of waiting, in brackets iddat, with the intention of making up and not causing further problems, while in brackets release with kindness means to give the third divorce in not to revoke the divorce within the period of waiting, meaning in brackets iddat, in which case it becomes an irrevocable divorce. In it there is a hint that the husband and wife cannot take back the gifts given to one another, as marriage serves as an obstacle for returning these. There are 7 obstacles mentioned by the jurist and are account in the letter of Wama Khizqih. The letter Z in brackets denotes Zojiya, meaning marriage. Similarly, the husband cannot take back the meher as well. In this verse, the leaders, guardians, and the heirs of the marriage couple are addressed, who usually try to patch up the differences whenever there is a rift between the couple. The divorce under discussion is khula, divorce obtained on wife's initiative in brackets. This verse was revealed in the matter of Hazrat Jamila bint Abdullah, who obtained her divorce by returning the garden which has been given to her in meher by her husband. Thabit bin Qais, from this incident a few issues arise. Number one, khula is a divorce but not the annulment of marriage, because here the giving of ransom is mentioned, which is the work of a woman. The work of the husband is not mentioned here. From this it can be deduced that the husband's work in the respect is what is mentioned above to give the divorce. Number two, a woman's work in respect of khula is to give the ransom. The divorce itself will be given by the husband, not the wife. And point three, whatever ransom is agreed in respect of khula has to be paid, even though it may be higher than the value of meher, meaning dowry. However, it is makruh, undesirable, to take the value in excess of meher. And point four, for khula to take place, the value has to be given by the wife. No other person may pay this amount for the purpose of obtaining divorce without the knowledge of the wife. Otherwise, khula will not take place. Such a custom is followed in Punjab. And point five, in khula, talaqi bain, irrevocable divorce takes place because ransom is that amount which the wife pays to the husband to secure her freedom. While through talaqi raji', in brackets, revocable divorce, the wife does not obtain her freedom. Sallu ala al-habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.